Hi guys, and hello from the hilltop. I'm Waxahachie Blue, and welcome to my channel, The Plateau Perfectionist. Today's video is my January 2021 plan with me and my sequels, I still don't know how to say it, but my new dot journal. Of course, my brain comes to a screeching halt while I'm trying to prepare all this. So, for those of you who haven't watched my setup for 2022, I mentioned that I will be doing a 2-color for 22 challenge, which means that for every single month for the year of 2022, I will draw 2 colors randomly from a jar where I have all of my markers written out, on little pieces of paper, and then I will be using those 2 colors. So for this particular video, I ended up getting a zebra mild liner in a teal color, as well as a kind of almost a royally vibrant blue color in my Crayola Super Tips. Since I have it's the 0 to 50 pack in my numbering of my color tips, it is number 35. And in case you happen to see the number 35 on the bottom of it. So for those of you who don't know, Crayola Super Tips, they do have like numbers kind of engraved in them, but I can't honestly see them, so I just took a permanent marker and labeled them accordingly. Also, if you happen to hear any random noises in the background, I do apologize. My mom and dad got their Christmas gift early, and they're trying to set it up, and so my dad is trying to fiddle with the volume and all that other things. As for the theme for this particular month, I decided to do trees. I didn't really do trees for my Christmas theme because I did a black and white Christmas. So for this one, I just kind of did scribble trees. I liked the way these 2 colors looked together, and then I also included a gold Unibal pin. You'll see it pop up from in time to time, just to add a technical 3rd color. And to be fair, I did allot myself the use of black, white, gold, or silver as an accent that I can use however I so choose in any of them. So I also included a little bit of craft paper, which you will see on my quote page, which will be on the left-hand side, but I had already pre-made my quote pages, so other than seeing me kind of slap it in there, it is what it is. I also wanted to add this little moon sky thing. I really like the idea of a gold moon, and this is just my title page for the month of January, and then I had this quote here from Caroline Miss. Oh, and then I had this washi tape that was just kind of willy-nilly. It matched these colors just so perfectly, I couldn't help but include it. I was originally going to go with a gold washi, but I liked that one a little bit better. So as for my 2-page calendar spread, the thing that I kept with throughout all of my spreads is the 2-tone bold, is it bold? Big letters. So the teal on the top and the royal blue on the bottom. And I had this extra space because of the way that the month of January looks like. Again, for those of you who have never seen my videos, I do Monday through Sunday on my calendars just because I'm weird. I used to do Sunday to Saturday, just like every other American, but honestly, I enjoy doing the Monday through Sunday, at least in my bullet journal. I like having my weekends side by side. That's primarily why I do it. And that is why, and that is what you will see. So as you watch, you'll see that I have it Monday to Sunday on my month as well as my weeklies. I also do all of my weeklies all in one batch. I don't like doing them week to week. I like them to be all done, all ready, so that way as I have things to write down for the month, they're already built and I can just write it down and keep going. I don't have to wait and build the week, and there you go. So something I did include in this 2-page calendar that I don't usually include is up in the top right hand corner, I added a space for Instagram. So this past month or so, due to life just honestly catching up with me, I have been slacking on remembering to post on my Instagram in a timely fashion, and as such I have lost a few followers, which I don't particularly care. about a follower count. I don't do this for followers. I don't do this to make money or anything in that respect. I do it because it is fun and I enjoy creating, and I'm trying to learn as I go. I'm trying to teach myself film and videography and editing, and this gives me a great outlet to do that as well as be creative. But in the meantime, I have been slacking on posting, especially on my Instagram, like I said, because of life. And so I went ahead and made this little thing up in the corner so I can write down when I am supposed to post, what I'm going to post, hopefully, and just as a kind of mental reminder, hey, I need to post because this needs to be posted. And then I just added another little quote. This is the only quote. I didn't have the craft paper on the background. I just threw this in because I had the blank space. No moon. I thought it would be a little too distracting though. And yes, I just kept with the three colors: the teal, the blue, and then again the gold. And I accidentally didn't write the numbers in, so you'll see it in the flip through. But for some reason, I plumb forgot to write the numbers in because. There's my numbers. So in addition to my usual spreads, something I wanted to include was a brain dump spread. Just a place to kind of write down my thoughts whenever I have a random thought that needs to be written down. I did mark it down into 4 categories. That is goals, needs, wants, and then random thoughts. So if there's a particular goal that I want to accomplish, if it's just like a daily goal or a weekly goal or a monthly goal, I can write it down here, as well as absolute needs, a reminder to buy dog food, or when I bought dog food, or something of that nature, things that I may want to remember or dump in my brain. And then of course random thoughts is random thoughts. And then of course I have my budget journal budget spread on the other side. This is a 2-page spread. I always do a 2-pager for my budget just because I know my spending habits and I'm going to need 2 pages. But I did break it up to it's on the front and back instead of a regular 2-page spread. And then of course, so add a little scrollies, and I did add some gold over the scrollies just to give it a little bit of pop. But in the meantime, I'll let you enjoy and I'll stop talking for a minute. So for those of you who don't know, when I do my budgeting, I always do a 2-page spread just because I know my spending habits, and I know with all of the bills that I have come due, as well as all of the extra gas required spending that I have to do, I will end up using 2 pages. I also have the way I do my budget is that I write down the date, a description of what the item is, the amount of the item, and then which account it is taken out of. So such as my bank account, if it is something that comes out of my bank account or goes into my bank account, such as a paycheck. And then I also have a couple of cards, as credit cards, as well as my savings. One of my goals for this particular year is to be putting more money into my savings, especially now that my student loans are finished. And so I'm really hoping to make use of this savings column much more than I have been. So moving on, this is my, these are my weeklies. I decided to do a vertical Dutch door. I've used these in the past. This one I actually cut a little deeper than I usually do. I usually try to keep the whole page, but in this time I decided to cut it a bit so I'd have a little bit of an image on the side. Another reason I did this was so that way I could have my habit tracker here on the left and I'd be able to see it for the whole of the month. So as I again mentioned in my 2022 setup, I have a challenge going on which is called a 4-3-2-1 challenge, which basically there's some habits that I am trying to turn into routines. And by that, I also, to tie into that, is my habit tracker for each month to remind myself to brush my teeth, to go for a walk, to do yoga and meditate, as well as water my plants. I have some plants here as well as the office, and this is just a reminder to make sure that those poor babies get water, because plants do need water. I have ivies and they do like water. So I have two different types of whiteout kind of pins. I have this Unibal as well as the jelly rolls, and for some reason the white Uniball worked better to erase that line than my other one, so meh. Yes. Something else that I am going to try to semi-do this round is to have some washi tape on the edge of each page. I don't know why, I just feel like doing it. Because it's washi tape and it's my washi tape and I can put it wherever I want. I did it on my 2022 setup spreads just to give it a little add of a pop of color on the edges. I didn't feel like quite using it here on all of my pages just because some of my things go all the way to the edge of the page, but I figured I could at least use it on the edge of my weeklies to give it that little extra oomph of color if need be, but also just be there. I also had these extra stickers. I forget where I got these. I believe it was from AliExpress. I do not have a link. I believe this shop is no longer available. However, I think you can get similar ones through a AliExpress user called Mr. Paper. I think you can even probably get them on Amazon. They're pretty dime a dozen. I have them in all different colors, but some of them were a little more met with my color scheme than other ones, and so I just kind of added them here willy-nilly. And then yes, I did try to make each of my weeklies look a little bit different. So I would still have the whole week to write out, but like here I did a vertical column for one day so I could have this picture here. I may add something towards the bottom of it later, I don't quite know. And then of course I absolutely messed up here. I tried to be fancy and write out the words, and I ran out of room. So what do? I grab my very busy washi tape and I cover it. I am human, I make mistakes. And so that's what I did to cover it up. And you know what? If I didn't tell you and you weren't paying attention, you probably wouldn't even notice. Because I'm fancy like that. Anyway, so I covered up my mistake. And then I just wrote down the numbers. I made another mistake on the following page, which you'll probably catch because it was kind of blatantly obvious. But I just, again, using the three colors over and over again in some different ways to create different weeklies, but they have all the same relative cohesion. So here I decided to do some more trees, because trees. And I made this little, I was going to do this little picture scene of trees and all that good stuff, my little scribble trees. And then as I'm designing my lines for the weeks, I realized I messed up on my count for my lines, and I ended up having 6 days instead of 7. So be glad I dub over this with a voiceover, because I said some choice words at myself, because again, I'm human and I messed up, and I naturally had to say some words because I messed up. But you know what? It added character. That's all you can do. What is it Bob Ross says? Is there's no mistakes, just happy accidents. Well, this was a royal accident, and if you can't laugh at your own mistakes, then what can you do? So, like I said, I made my lines here for 4 here, and then I was like, oh, well, I'll do 3 on this page, and then I realized one's full of trees. So what did I do? I cut the last one in half, and there you go. And then again, just rolling with, I did add a little bit of scribbly swirly font, because scribbly swirly font, swirly font, squirrely swirly font. I love alliteration. Am I weird? Can you tell? I love it. At least I'm not saying, but I digress a lot. I don't even know. Did anybody actually count how many times I said I digress in my last video? I said it a lot of times. So for the last spread, since there was an extra day, I did do 4 and 4. So the day 31 is included in this week. I didn't want to have a whole page dedicated to just one day. I would rather just slap it in here. I do that from time to time. If there's a really, really short week that only has maybe 1 or 2 days, I will usually either add it in its own respect to another week, or very rarely I will give it its own page like I did the 1st and 2nd of the month, because I do expect to be a little bit busy on those days. Yes, one of them is a holiday, but then we fly right into a Monday and the start of a new job. For those of you who don't know, I will be starting a new job effective the 1st of the year. And so this journal is going to get a lot of use, because I'm going to have a lot of things that I need to keep running records of. And anyway, speaking of running records, so this is something that I don't usually do, but I figured I'd give it a home. I love sticky notes. I use sticky notes for everything, especially at work. So I wanted to give myself a place to stick my sticky notes, because I usually will just put them in whatever week I'm in, but sometimes with these weeks being so small, I'm not going to have that space. So I decided I'd give myself a designated place for stickies. And same thing for office stuff. So if I have sticky notes for groceries, I can put it on the left. If I have sticky notes of a list of to-dos that were too long to fit into my weekly, I can stick it in the office stuff. So this is my sticky note paradise for the month of January. In the meantime, I went with some larger trees on this right-hand picture. However, with the markers being so fat and the gold pin being so thin, I did end up having to go over the gold twice, just to give it enough so you don't necessarily see the blue tree through it as badly. And then of course another moon, because moon. But yes, that is what I ended up putting here on the edge. In the meantime, I want to thank you for watching. I appreciate y'all taking the extra time to watch my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like. If you enjoyed my content, by all means subscribe, or just regardless, comments are always appreciated. So thank you again for watching my video. I look forward to seeing you around again, hopefully. And in the meantime, you can also find me on Instagram at The Plateau Perfectionist, with underscores in between each word, as well as Facebook, minus the underscores in between each word. And I hope you enjoy the flip through, and I will see y'all next month.